So we look at Interpol. Interpol hierarchy is from Wikipedia, had an unhealthy history of close connection to National Socialism. Not only did Interpol share its headquarters with the Gestapo during World War II, but also officially operated as a division within Nazi security police. Lovely. So two Nazi war criminals, Reinhard Heydrich and then Ernst Kaltenbrunner, were the agency's wartime presidents. And we saw earlier, somewhere in episodes 5 through 11 or 12, not in 12, that Reinhard Heydrich was the same man who plays Charles Schultz. Reinhard Heydrich, Nazi president of Interpol, and I identified first him as Charles Filippi, then Charles Schultz. Charles Schultz did the Peanuts cartoons. And also earlier I identified Ernst Kaltenbrunner as Webb Smith when I was identifying all the other Nazis. Well, it's all well and good until you identify, Webb Smith also as Clyde Tolson. So now you have the same man, Webb Smith, who is Leslie Howard, playing Ernst Kaltenbrunner, Nazi president of Interpol, and the number 2 man at the FBI. So again, playing both sides of the street here. He doesn't care. He's an actor. He's not political. None of these people give a crap. They're paid to do this. I don't know. And so besides playing J. Edgar Hoover, Ed Erman Plenner also played a Nazi. Which Nazi did he play? He plays Rudolf Hess. Told you this would be terrible. It only gets worse and worse. And you can see this kind of same shaped head here. It's a little, I should have put them at the same size, but the head shape is identical with the same size forehead sloping forward. This nose here, they've added a prosthetic over here. You can see the texture changes. This is probably his original nose, but there's some kind of crusty looking material they've applied here. I got a great ear in a minute that everybody should be able to read. And here they've applied a whole different nose, it appears, or they did a better job, but it's all shiny and it comes all the way down here. But again, Rudolf Hess playing J. Edgar. And some of this has to do with the coloring and the shape of the head. J. Edgar probably from another country. He's got a darker complexion. You can see the distinct resemblance between these two. And here's the great ear over here. Even I can read this ear. And even though this is at a 45-degree angle, and this is at probably a little more than 90, at least maybe 92, 95, this is the same ear. I mean, they've got the earlobe on, which normally they might take off, and the shape of the ear is identical, even though you have to rotate it in your mind. This is a great one for studying ears. Same shape of the head, and again, he's got some Middle Eastern or African features, and here you could see it, darker skin. He's got a little bit of kinky hair here, which here they've shaved it down very close, but you can see the same area of shaving here down to the side, and this part here coming off. They may add a little bit of prosthesis here to the face to bulk it up a little bit. But it's the same person. I mean, this is J. Edgar Hoover by definition. Go find the picture. This is Rudolf Hess. So you have the number 1 guy at the FBI also played a Nazi. Is he actually a Nazi? No, they're actors. But the people who run the world set these people up to run acting roles all over the world. World's controlled by only a handful of people, and they determine what they're doing, where they're doing. They use actors to do it. So just kind of a review. Here's the original picture with the names in there, though I left, this is a mistake. This is not Bill Pete. That's Willie Reitherman. Yay, jeepers. And Rudolf Hess here, Ed Penner, Clyde Tolson, J. Edgar Hoover, Ernst Kaltenbrunner. I think the next one's better. I should try and skip it. Yeah, I took it out on this one. So if you think I'm wrong about this, I'm going to show you another one. Like if this is too crazy to be true, right? Rudolph Hess, J. Edgar Hoover, Ernst Kaltenbrunner, Clyde Tolson. If you think I'm wrong, watch this. There's a little fellow over here, Ham Lusk, worked for Disney, and I was able to dig up some other photographs of him. So here he is, Ham Lusk, and here he is. You can see the resemblance. He's an old, nice old man. He's an animator, works for Disney. Yeah, here's the problem. The guy's also Field Marshal Rommel, the Desert Fox. Ham Lusk, Disney animator, Field Marshal Rommel. Look at that. You see the resemblance, size and shape of the head. Same here. Obviously, he's much older. Here, the ear may be starting to sag a little bit, but this is the same man. The next one just crazy. I mean, look, same squinty eyes here, same coloring. They do a great job with makeup over at Disney. You got to hand it to them with this weathered-looking raincoat and scarf under it and the goggles, looking very desert foxish. But it's Ham Lusk. This is the same guy in this photograph. So if you think I'm wrong here you have Rommel, Rudolf Hess, Ernst Kaltenbrunner. Unbelievable. I didn't find Wooly Reitherman being anybody. And here we sum it up again, and you can see the intense similarities between these people. This one would be tough without all the intermediate steps, unless you were an ear expert, in which case those ears look pretty damn good. But it's a disgrace, really. And you have actors playing Nazis, playing FBI agents, playing head of Interpol, head of the FBI, Bonnie and Clyde, Dillinger, and you're left with a lot of questions. So I've identified J. Edgar as a fraud. He's with the Kennedys. You really need to go look at the work of Ed Chiarini from wellaware1.com. It's the number one, wellaware1.com. And he will assist with some of this. He's got a lot of information here to pull things together here. He's J. Edgar's getting a pin. This is Eisenhower. Here's Nixon. And they're all frauds here. I'll show you in a second who Eisenhower was. I'm not saying he's not a nice guy. I happen to like this guy. But J. Edgar Hoover's a fraud. They're all frauds here. Question everything. Take nothing at face value. Betrayal is the worst form of evil. So again, I recommend that you go look at the work of Ed Chiarini, the Dallas Goldbug, wellaware1.com. He's the one who, for me, nailed it with identifying Walt Disney as Adolf Hitler. It's in my videos, but he has a ton of stuff which identifies his family members and who's running the show. This was an earlier slide of mine corroborating what he said. Always double check people's work. So in future videos, we will look at Dwight David Eisenhower. Was he as good an optometrist as he was a president and a general? Now, this one I'll give you because I'm not sure when I'll get back to it, but I went looking for Eisenhower and found Dr. Paul Yamber, who's an eye doctor who died last year, and it's the same man. I checked the teeth. And here, if you look at Eisenhower, he's got a fracture on his right first incisor. And here the teeth all wind up getting fractured off. But this is the same guy. This is just a great find. And, oh, the women here, Mamie Eisenhower and Barbara Marie. Barbara Marie is Paul Yamber's wife. The teeth are identical as well. You need to look because it's a little glossy on Barbara Marie. We'll explore who was L. Ron Hubbard. I'm not giving this one away. You'll have to tune in for that. But, you know, what the heck? Is that Eddie Munster there? Oh, my God. We'll question why the Steve Miller Band was at the Kent State shooting hoax. We'll question what Bob Dylan was doing there as the photographer for the press conference for Mary Vecchio. I mean, really, WTF, Mr. Dylan? Oh, yeah, it's you. It's you. And is Jill Biden the lead guitar of the band Heart? Inquiring minds want to know. I want to know. Remember, everybody, it only gets worse. Take care. Bye-bye.